All right, so to get you riled up for this presentation, so basically I'm going to present real quick on a special presentation on transferable skills. Just by a show of the room in the audience, who's a senior? Real quick, just by a show of hands. All right, and for everyone else, any juniors, sophomores, freshmen? Okay, well this applies basically to everyone, all right? So if this is your first year, whether it's your first year, whether it's a returner, this information is still valuable for you to have. So basically my presentation is on from CA to a JOB, utilizing transferable skills in your job/internship search. Okay. So the agenda of today's presentation is to discuss the key aspects of the conference assistant position and how they can become transferable skills for any future job/internship opportunities. All right, so what's transferable skills? So businessdictionary.com has it identified as aptitude and knowledge acquired through personal experience such as schooling, jobs, classes, hobbies, sports, etc. Basically any talent developed and able to be used in future employment. So basically what this means is any skill set that you obtain from this position can be later utilized for any job or internship opportunities that you may have within the future. It's good to have these skill sets because you never know when you're going to utilize them in whichever field you work in. Okay? So I'm going to go over four different areas that this position covers, and that can become transferable skills. So you can go on to the first. First is customer service. So if you read this right here, these are three different job duties that are on the job description. Okay? So the first is performing daily customer service operations, such as listed, providing a staff presence at various conference functions, resource/referral person for conference guests by responding to requests for information about Stony Brook community. Click. And any job industry, there's always a need for customer service. So whether you're an engineer, whether you're going into the medical field, or any other profession that you're pursuing your major in, there's always going to be a need for customer service. There's always going to be a need to serve a particular client, and other various jobs as well. So it's very important that you have this character as part of your skills set to have. Okay, let's move on to the next, please. The next is risk management. So as a CA, you are responding to emergency maintenance requests by contacting the appropriate persons, and you're also sharing ongoing responsibilities with other office assistants and responding to emergencies. Why is this important? An employer would be interested in seeing how you manage an emergency situation if one was to arise, and any experience in this area would make you more applicable for future job/internship opportunities. Risk management is important because whether you may think so or not, an employer will want to see how is it that you're able to manage through emergency crises. Like what is the first thing that comes to your mind when an emergency takes place? They want to see if you have experience with, oh my God, there's a fire going on. What's the first procedure? Or if there's an emergency going on in a building or emergency going on anywhere taking place with this position, they want to see how did you utilize it? How did you go about taking care of that particular situation? And who did you answer to? Because they want to see that as part of your journey. Next one. Time management. So the only one I could pull out from the job description for this position was preparing for all aspects of assigned conferences to ensure a successful program for the conference guests, and adhering to the assigned work schedules and maintaining accurate conference operational records. This is very important because it's basically an employer wants to know how efficient you are with time-sensitive tasks and how you manage last-minute assignments. For time is money. They're hiring you for a reason, so they want to see where you best strive at when it comes to time-efficient things. Because if you're late on something, or if you're not efficient with time, they need to see the time efficiency. So because of that, you need to highlight that within when you are listing within your resume. You know, how did you do this task? How did you and under what circumstances? They want to see how well you can work under these circumstances. Sometimes with this position, something last minute might come up, and you never really know. So it's good to have that sense of urgency as a skill set, because in the workplace, anything could pop up. Any last minute assignments can come up, and you need to be prepared for those type of assignments to take place, because it can happen, folks. It can happen. If it has not done so, or if it hasn't done already for you, then it's probably going to at some point. And last but not least, teamwork. For all my introverts in the house, basically it's interacting with conference managers and other conference staff to ensure all necessary preparations for assigned individual groups have been performed and that the office is ready for the group's arrival. Why is this important? Whether you like it or not, in any job/internship setting, there will always be a need to work in teams in order to get assignments done more effectively. Now, for all my introverts in the house, please understand, while it is said that, you know, someone's like, oh, I can do this on my own, I can get this done by myself. But why this is important is, if you click to the next one, and click on. So this right here is for those that think they can do it by themselves. Basically, there's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. Now you look over here to the left-hand side, this is what basically some of the attributes of what a boss does. A boss drives people, depends on authority, inspires fear, says I, places the blame for the breakdown, knows how it's done, uses people, takes credit, commands, and says go. That is negative attributes to have if you want to be a leader. Now, there's two aspects to it. There's a boss, but if you really want to be an effective leader, right? A leader is someone that coaches employees, depends on goodwill, generates enthusiasm, says we as in one of the core aspects of teamwork. That's what an effective leader is, because they fix the breakdown, they show us how it's done, it develops people, it gives credit, it asks, and says, let's go. Part of teamwork is let's go, let's build as a collective unit. Basically, if you say you can do it all by yourself, you're developing some of the attributes of the boss. You want to be an effective leader that not only you are reflecting your leadership styles onto a person, but the main aspect of a leader is to develop other leaders within your team, because 9 times out of 10, there'll probably come a time where you have to step out of the office, and your team is only there from the boss's aspect, instead of developing them into leaders as part of your transition into a leader. So it's good to, you know, when you're first becoming a boss, like, yeah, you know, you want to speak fear in them, it says I. But the point of a leader is for you to say we, collectively, because you're developing leaders in the process of you becoming a leader, you're developing other leaders in your team. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's the best way I can describe this, all right? Move on to the next. So, go back. So, why is it important to have transferable skills? Now, I just covered already real quick 4 different areas of leadership skills that could be also transferable. So, by a show of hands, anyone can take a crack at this. Why do you feel it's important to have transferable skills? Anyone? Yes?
Well, part of leading and part of growing as a person is not staying in the same place all the time. So you would want to move from one job to another or one position to another to really transfer the skills everywhere.
Thank you so much for that. So, if you didn't hear what she said, for those in the back, when you're moving from one job to another, it's important to instill a different variety of skills that you have developed from one job to another. Whether it's working at McDonald's or working at Burger King to working for a large corporation, any and all skills can be utilized and can become transferable. All right? Anyone else want want to take a crack at it? Why is it also important to have transferable skills? Anyone else? Yes?
Because a job cannot teach you everything. There are certain things that at a point in your life you should already have acquired. So if you have these transferable skills, you can apply it to your job instead of feeling as though you have to be dependent on your boss or your leader to teach you everything.
That is also true. Yes. Amen. Amen right there. A job's not going to teach you everything. So what you acquire from one job can help you transition easier to the next job you get, or to the next, or to the next. The point is to build as many skills as possible so that when you come into that interview and you have your resume set in place and you're interviewing, you can be you can set yourself up for being one of the best candidates possible for any position. All right? So it's very important to have these skill set because of this notion. It's very important that as a group, you come together and you develop these skills together. It's also important that you're part of a team. It's building that unity as well. So all of you are going to develop the same skills. But the only difference is that some of you are going to go into different fields. But how you utilize these skill set in your job search will be vital, because you never know. There could be a position that requires one of the 4 sections that I just mentioned, or even more. But it's always good to develop these skill set because you never know what the next job's going to bring you. Okay, click. So, for the job/internship search, for those that are searching for a job or those that are searching for an internship, here are some tips that I developed along the way that I want to provide to all of you. So the first is, make sure that your resume is up to date and has accurate information. It's very important that you have as much accurate information as possible. The last thing you want to do is lie on your resume. Because yes, employers can catch you on it and call you on it during an interview. Carefully so that your resume can match the position's needs. It's important that you read the job description when you're applying for an internship or you're applying for a job. Because how you view the job description is how you're going to tailor your resume. You know, traditionally we tell students are known to probably put it all in one page. It's almost impossible. You know, you want to highlight as much as you can, but there's ways to go about it. You know, highlighting, key things that are tailored to that position. And it's not good to have more than one page. Only reason why is because employers see thousands of resumes. It's good for them to see one page, because 9 times out of 10, they're looking at it for like a good 30 seconds. If they have to flip over the next page, they're already trash. All right? Now, it depends on the position, of course, and it depends on the major. But in most cases, you're going to have it where they're going to throw it out if they have to flip over to the next page. So it's important that you highlight what the position is needed for, so that they can say, okay, they fill all these requirements. All right, keep them. So it's important that you highlight what tailors to the needs of the position. Next. Prep for your job interview. You want to do some research on the company or for the job position, internship position, wherever it is, because it's important that you go in there prepared. 9 times out of 10, also, you have to keep in mind, whether you might think so or not, sometimes sometimes the person that you're interviewing may not be the final hiring manager. So they won't be prepared, but it's also good for you to prepare twice as hard. All right? Because the point is for them to match you. All right? So you want to be prepared for the job interview at all times. It's not just in where, it's also how you approach the entire interview process. And last but not least, utilize any resources available to you that will help you in your job search. What I mean by that is, as a career center, correct? Okay, utilize that resource or any other resource within your department for your major. Those resources are very valuable to how you go about your job search. Career centers are there for a reason. They're here to help you grow. They're here to help you succeed on to that job opportunity or that internship opportunity. Utilize them while you still have them. Come up to me and say, hey, here's my resume, help me find a job. And it's almost like completely halfway. That's why it's good to start now, developing your resume and developing your personal, your brand, who you are, okay? And which leads me to the last point. Be yourself. You are not fooling anyone when you're going into that interview. You want to be yourself, and you want to show them that you have the characteristics and the ability to get a job done, and that you are the best candidate for that position.